And this game right here about made me fall out my chair. I called my bank. I said, let me get a loan. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. But with all that said here, I saw this line. Arizona State at this moment is plus 13.5. Now, just a couple days ago, there was a moment where it skimmed 14. And I did go ahead and grabbed it at 14, but at 13.5, I don't know. Maybe you guys can look around today. You can find it at 14 on one of the who knows how many sports books are out there. But the Texas Longhorns coming in a 13.5 point favorite. Ian, a couple things wrong with this line for me. Number one, Arizona State's rested. You let Bo rest and or Cam rest, and you got yourself a whole issue here, right, with Arizona State. You got a Texas team coming off a win that really did not impress me. I don't care if they won. Quinn Ewers is still a very average quarterback. I think he's highly, highly overrated. I don't think he's going to have as much success against the ASU defense as people believe that he's going to have. And finally, and most importantly, I just think the Arizona State offense to this moment still doesn't get the respect that they deserve. So give me Arizona State plus 13.5. And spoiler alert, I'm taking them on the money line. Arizona State. Let's go.
Well, I knew that these two roads would have to have a divide eventually, good sir. It's been a fun ride while it has been here. Unfortunately, my friend, I think I'm going to have to lean the other way in this one. I think more so, yes, Sam Levitt and Cam Scatbo are fantastic stories here, but I think a lot of people are tending to forget that Texas defense is absolutely stacked with NFL talent at all three levels here. And I think it's going to be one of those situations where, yes, Arizona State, we saw what they were able to do to Iowa State. Iowa State had no business being on that field, but let's be honest here, Iowa State is not Texas. Texas is just so much deeper than what Iowa State can continue to go ahead and put out.
You mean Texas that could beat Georgia with a backup at Texas?
I mean, the way I see it, their only two losses are to Georgia, and Georgia is currently the number 2 seed, where Arizona State, what were their two losses again? Because I'm going to tell you right now, they were not nearly as impressive as what Texas's are. They just aren't, my friend.
Hey, it wasn't a backup. So,
I understand that it's not a backup, but you also have to look at just everything across the board here. I just think that in the long run, I think Texas, they just feel more built. And I know it almost feels kind of like the Boise State situation from 2007. Everybody wants to see a Cinderella team, and I think that's what Arizona State kind of was. I think it was all thanks to those little bits of tiebreakers that ended up getting them into the show. They ended up facing off against Iowa State, where they ended up having a very decisive advantage there in the run game, where Scatbo, he has like 17 for 180 yards and a couple of touchdowns. I just think, with Texas, I just don't see Cam Scatbo being able to run wild like that again. I think that Arizona State defense will get more tested, especially by Quintravian Weisner, and with Jaden Blue being back as well. The two-headed monster is back in the backfield for the Texas Longhorns, and I get it. Everybody has their opinions here on Quinn Ewers, but I think this is going to be that time where Steve Sarkisian, he's going to need to start looking over his shoulder and saying, okay, I think we may need to start seeing what number 16 can do. Because I genuinely think no matter what happens here, whether Quinn wants to come back or not, I think next year this is going to be Arch Manning's team. I can already tell just the vibes.
If it's not, he's leaving.
Yeah. I also think that it's one of those situations where I think the energy from the Texas Longhorns on offense takes an extra step forward when Arch Manning's on the field compared to Quinn Ewers. It almost feels like Sarkisian's almost had to plan around Quinn Ewers, not with him. Where with Arch Manning, you're planning with him, not around him. So it's
and who's starting in this one?
I mean, I would still probably say it still goes to Quinn, simply for the magnitude of the game and the situation. Quinn Ewers has been here before. I just don't see how you go away from that. But I would like to see a little bit more Arch Manning in this game, especially if things go the way that I project them to. I could actually see Arch Manning getting a little more than just a couple of plays in this game here. 13.5 points, I understand that's even steeper than that first game here. But again, what can that Arizona State defense do against a fully loaded Texas offense? I just don't see it happening here. I know you want it to be the upset alert. You want to sound the sirens here. I'm sorry, Sparky. It's not your time either, my friend. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Texas Longhorns. I'm going to take the over as well. Over underline currently sitting at 51.5. I think this one's going to easily blow this one out of the water here. I'm going to say this one goes to like, gosh, if I'm going to take Texas all the way, I mean, we could easily be
14 points, a lot of points, Ian.
It is, but again, that Arizona State defense, if you can show me something, then I will gladly, take off my hat, give you the respect you deserve. But right now, I'm going to say 41-24 Texas rolls.
41-24 Texas rolls. Okay, that's fair. I think that's a very fair projection, especially when you go off what we saw in round one, right? We keep seeing all these double-digit dogs. Oh, it's too many points. They're going to cover. It's how I felt about Boise State, right? It's like, well, that's a lot of points, and I don't think that team's going to win, but they might. The difference in this game is I think they can win, Ian. Deep down, they can beat this team. They can. They need to start quick. They need to get Cam going, obviously, right out the gate here. If Arizona State is up, let's just say 10-3 in the second quarter, they are in this football game, and they have the ability to run and get first downs and keep Quinn off the field. Let him get cold when he comes back in. They have the defense to ball hawk him, to bring the blitz on him. I think he's going to be surprisingly uncomfortable in this game, and I'm talking about Quinn Ewers here. Now, you brought up Arch Manning. Let me tell you right now, if Arch Manning was the quarterback, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But it's not Arch Manning. It's Quinn Ewers, and I'm just not a Quinn Ewers guy. He's not a first rounder. He's not a second rounder, and I'm sorry, folks, I don't think he's a third. So you can say whatever you want here, but I was higher on Spencer Rattler in college than I was on Quinn Ewers. I don't care. He's at Texas. Great. When the little tiny Arch Manning comes in, I shouldn't call him little tiny, but you know what I mean. When the youngin' Arch Manning comes in and he instantly looks better than you do in your offense, you have a problem. You're not that good. So for me here, I just feel like Arizona State, the planning, the rest, the running back, I just feel like they have it going on here. And you can think whatever you want about the head coaching and all the other coaching at Arizona State, but it's something about passion in there. I'm not going to say it's Dan Campbell-like, but it's kind of like that. It's like this, I don't care what you think about me. I love my guys. I love my team. If we believe, we're going to win. And they believe that they can beat this Texas team. I'm telling you right now, Texas couldn't beat Georgia with a lead, with a backup quarterback. Don't play with Arizona State in this game, guys. Once again, am I taking a huge risk here, laying 13.5 points and saying, screw it, give me the money line? Of course I am. And it's the biggest dog of the weekend. So I'm just trying to get you all paid. More importantly, it's the 13.5, 14 points, wherever you can find it. I think you got to take it here. This is a 2-touchdown or less game, in my opinion, unless there's some crazy pick six at the end as Arizona State's trying to drive down there and tie things up or something. So I like Arizona State to cover. I'm sprinkling them on the money line. DJ, cue the money. Let's make it rain up in here. Anyway, with that said, Ian, on that total, man, you mentioned, what was it, 51.5? You said you think the over's going out the water, right?
I think that the over is going to go over, especially in this game and the next game that we talk about as well. But again, it's just more so Arizona State's defense. I just don't know if they can contain what Texas's offense can do, especially in the run game with that two-headed monster with Wisner and Jaden Blue. They looked absolutely phenomenal against Clemson. I understand that they didn't look great to you, but from what I've seen this year, that was probably been the most complete offensive game that Texas has been able to put together through the entire season. And when they are put together, they are a very, very hard team to beat. Arizona State, yes, you had the week off to prep for it. I just don't know how much prep you can have for something that's coming down the track like that.
If Texas cover in this game, hear me out, it's not because of Quinn Ewers. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I wasn't impressed. It was a good win, right? I mean, that Clemson game was not an easy draw, right? But All I'm saying is I'm not going to watch him, honestly, like you just mentioned, kind of have his best game and just go jump on the Texas train because I just watched him lose to Georgia. And so, like, I'm not going to sit here and play this game with Quinn and be like, oh, yeah, oh, I'm back on the Texas train. They just killed Clemson. Arizona State's got no business. Guys, I understand the argument. 92% of you are taking Texas to win this game. And I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. But I'm not with you. So good luck to you guys. Ian and I parting the Red Sea here. He is on Texas to win and cover and the over. I'm on Arizona State to win and cover and on the over as well. So we are together on the over. Good luck to you guys, and that one should be fun. Ian, by the way, score projection, give me Arizona State 34-30.